Yeah.
Uh-huh. What were we told we should do, Ron?
We were told we should do a podcast.
What's the word? Really?
We were told we should do a part. You got something in your teeth. Right in the middle. I noticed it right at the start.
Sorry, really?
Right in the dead center of your middle.
Oh my God.
teeth.
And this is the rap for today. This is the song for today, Alan. Stick with
And
it.
He's got something in his teeth. But
Something
lucky I
in my
noticed it
teeth.
right now.
All right. So,
I think I got it.
So the topic today, ladies and gentlemen, is
so
that awkward moment. We were told we should talk about that awkward moment you have something stuck in your teeth and you're
Yeah.
recording a podcast
Yeah.
that has video element
I actually
to
just
it.
pushed it in further and now it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
cemented in.
Fucking
give me a look.
sorry to all the actual
That's
podcast
fine.
I can't see it now.
listeners.
Okay, I think it's become, I've pushed it far enough and that it
So
just looks
the-
like shadow.
So it's not visible, but it's
But I can feel it.
uncomfortable
It's uncomfortable
for
for
you.
me.
Sorry to all of the actual audio listeners out there that can't see Alan playing with his teeth right now.
Yeah.
I'll just make some audible sounds of me trying to get it out. Get it out.
Get closer to the mic. And might as well make it proper ASMR.
Oh god,
can't.
I'm uncomfortable. So what's our listener thinking?
Can't get it.
Adam,
I'm just
what-
going to roll with this.
Adam, what were we told to talk about?
We're talking about the thing that is two of them are sitting on the table right now. One's sitting on Ali's table.
Mine's
Yours
Mine's
is
in
in
my pocket.
yours is in your pocket.
Can't escape them.
Literally everyone has them, and like I say, literally everyone. Basically everyone has them as cell phones. And today is, are cell phones ruining us?
Well,
Are cell phones ruining society?
yes. And that's
Okay,
the end of the
that's the end
yeah.
of the podcast. Wrap
Yep.
it up.
Wrap it up.
Yo, cell phones ruin it.
That's it.
Wrap us out, Ron.
Wrap us out, right? Done.
I mean, obviously that's a bit of a provocative title. That cell phones are incredibly useful for day-to-day life, but it really feels like, I don't know if it's just kind of the last like 5 years or so as they've got even more powerful and they're really ingrained into our lives, but it really feels like everyone is just freaking attached to them these days. Like, like the joke always used to be that your parents didn't know how to use technology and all that kind of stuff. But I go around to my parents' house and, you know, you're all sitting around the couch with brothers and sisters, parents and partners and whatnot. And then there'll just be moments where everyone, including the parents, are on their phones.
I think my parents
And the
now...
parents are on Instagram and Facebook and they're freaking browsing Reddit or looking at Netflix, what they're going to watch that night. Like,
I think my parents now are almost worse than...
my parents are worse than us.
We are, especially when we have family gatherings, when... Not just because they're not like trying to be rude or anything, but when they focus on their phones, everything else vanishes. Yeah. Especially my mum is working on a text. I'll be trying to have a conversation with her, and she crafts some like beautifully long, some doozies. So she's working on these like little essays, and she's just like, oh, that's mum for the next 15, 20 minutes, just crafting this message.
Right, she's
She's just out. And Dad's, I think Dad is more on the iPad rather than the phone. But
My
it's
dad
still
is
the
iPad
screen
as well.
Yeah. And it's more, it's the evening thing for Dad, but it's still very much he's out. He's gone.
Yeah. I kind of want to go back a little bit because we're of that age of people who have lived through, obviously, being a kid, not having a phone, but then kind of getting into those teenage years and not having a phone either. And then when we first got phones, like I didn't have, I've been an iPhone guy for most of my phone having life, but I don't think I got my first iPhone I didn't get until I was 21, I think, roughly around then. It was university times.
I would have been even older. My first iPhone, I couldn't afford an iPhone.
Yeah.
My first
I couldn't
iPhone
afford
was,
a smartphone. I couldn't
This is
afford a
smartphone,
smartphone.
yeah.
smartphone. Yeah, which my one happened to be an iPhone.
Yeah,
an iPhone
same.
4, I remember very specifically. And I really like the size
Mine
of
was
the
an
iPhone
iPhone
4.
3.
Oh, damn.
I got it there.
But I was older. Like I am older than you, and it was my first week working at NZME. They were like, you get to choose a phone. I couldn't believe it.
So,
It was for me. It was actually a status thing at the same time. I was like,
same.
I'm going from
Dumb
pleb
Yeah.
to like I don't know.
Now
like,
I've got a camera in my phone.
I've got a camera
and
in my phone.
No more polyphonic
touch
ringtones
screen,
for me. Fucking,
touch screen, just
Yeah.
like everything. It was a moment, and I hate that it was a moment because I remember it being very exciting. It was a very important beat
same.
in my life.
Same.
Yeah.
So we're of that generation that's gone through that, whereas younger, older people just kind of arrived. They're all adults already and arrived.
Yeah.
And
Well, I'm different to you again because when it comes to just cell phones in general, I had it in my teens. So
you got your first one.
I got my first cell phone, and it could just do text messages and calls, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I got that when I was about maybe 14.
Yeah.
What were you when you were 14? You wouldn't have had like in high school. You wouldn't have had cell phones, eh?
I did. I got like a same deal, basic only did texting and calling.
Yeah,
and
I did too. Yeah,
when I was, I think I would have been 14 maybe.
Oh no, of course. Hang on, it's the other way around. You guys are younger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I actually was very young. I was actually before being a teen would have got my first phone. My first phone, you couldn't even text on it. My first phone was literally just a mobile. You call me on this.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre. And I remember my cousin.
Oh, bro, did those exist?
Those existed.
Fucking no.
Yeah.
I think my first one definitely had text.
Yeah, I couldn't text, and I remember my cousin told me she tried to text me, and I was like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that.
So I suppose actually the difference here is I went through half of my teens with no cell phones, whereas you went your entire teens with cell phones. Yeah. That's the difference between our
Yeah.
So there's a halfway point where I was like, oh, what are these things? And it's 20 cents to send a text.
Yeah.
Like.
The main thing I don't remember the cell phones in high school being all encompassing or like taking too much of my
that's
attention.
Kind of where I want to go next. It's like I loved my cell phone. It was great. It had Snake on it, and I played with the polyphonic ringtones from time to time to try and like jazz up my life.
Yeah,
but, like it wasn't.
My favorite thing to do on my cell phone during high school was to overanalyze texts from girls and thought of like I'm reading too far into the messages, but do they like me? Do they not like me? Oh my god! And then just crafting a message over like 3 hours, like my mom.
You would have done that in the 1800s if someone sent you a letter.
I would have. You're right. This is very, very true. But that's my main memory of a phone is just like getting a message, waiting for replies for an extended period of time. Be like, oh my god, so she doesn't like me, and then trying to craft a reply back, being like, it has to be cool.
But you've got limited characters.
So you got limited characters, so I have to try and squeeze it in. It has to be cool. It has to get the point across. It has to be like it has to be funny. Stressing out, crafting messages way too. You can just tell when a message is overthought, and I would do that every single time. Yeah, it's amazing. I was so good at this that I could a girl would lose interest in me over text. Good. Yeah, it was my superpower.
Did you guys get really good at like because you know how you had to press the button multiple times to text? To get a C, it was like 222.
What was it was a time when it was actually easier to do it without looking. Like you could have your phone behind your back and just viscerally go.
Although some people can still do it with touchscrring.
Oh yeah, we can.
Oh yeah, not me.
You were talking about this the other day that you can touch screen, like over here, not looking at it, and I want to almost challenge you on this. Like,
really?
Get you to write the sentence. Hello, my name is Ali. Just over here without looking at it.
Do it. Okay, let's do it. We're doing it. You guys need to
text.
Can text Rowan. Let's text Rowan, and you can read out the results. So without looking.
Okay.
So Adam's doing it. You just have to send whatever you write.
Oh, I wrote fucking nothing. Oh, because I fucking wrote. Although it did well, I wrote it into the person thing.
Hello, my name is Oz Adam.
Hello,
that's pretty good.
Hello.
Adam. I accidentally put 2 O's on hello, and instead of is, it's OS.
I wrote yo, Rowan, it's Ellie, and it was right.
Yeah.
I sent it. Yeah.
And I wasn't
watching you, but I believe you.
Oh, yeah,
you weren't looking at it at all.
Okay, yeah. So I do. The one time I have to look is first, so I know. I look at the keyboard,
Yeah.
And then.
Okay, here she goes. She's doing it. She's typing it without looking.
Did it again. She's
done
it again.
Can I just actually say as well? You didn't look, and you didn't. You did it so fast that it was a second to write that entire thing. That was
so part of incredible. That's on a flat piece of glass that you just kind of remember.
Yeah, my muscle memory.
Part of my issue there is that would have all been spelt correct, and part of the thing that I do, and probably Ali doesn't even realize is happening, is that would have auto-corrected to the correct thing.
Potentially,
it would have auto-corrected to hello.
Okay, how Alan's looking at me like with real intense eyes as he crafts the message.
I put it to airplane mode. Oh, got it. Okay.
He wrote, yo, dog, what's up? Is Alan, I'm the man.
Okay, I'm Alan, I'm the man was what it was supposed to be. It's Alan was what it was supposed to be.
This is great content.
Okay, I got to join the party.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Hello. How are you?
Mm-hmm.
Alan.
Rowan looks like a zombie right now.
Hello for sure, you am.
To go back to our cell phones ruining us or cell phones in life, like that just fucking shows how much time we spend on our phones because our fingers know the micro
Micro
distances to the keys.
Yeah, that's not a very cool skill to have now. I've realised it's kind of shameful.
It's a bit shameful.
Well, it is I mean, in today's world,
Today's
it's actually an
society
incredible
thinks
skill
okay.
to have.
What I wanted to talk about next is like cell phones. Before we get to cell phones today, cell phones like when you're in school,
Yeah.
and like man, everyone in you could just hear clicking in class.
Yeah,
You
it was
see-
that thing you
See, I
genuinely.
wasn't there. For me.
Oh, really?
You
Or just because
needed-
it's so new, you wouldn't. Hardly anyone had them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, for our generation, very much so. And it was you needed one. If you didn't have one,
Oh, it was a social symbol.
it was. And if you didn't have one, you would be begging your parents.
Oh,
and your
yeah.
parents would
I mean,
eventually
by,
give in.
by the time I was 15 or 16, it was like, most people had one.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess.
I have no idea how I'm going to navigate this with my children. Like I
it'll be a
don't
nightmare.
know. We've managed to keep them kind of independent. They never use iPads or phones. Like if I get my phone out, like Remy will show a bit of interest because she'll want to do like a Snapchat filter thing where we'll just play around with the camera or whatever. But they don't. We never put them in front of an iPad or a phone just to distract them.
I wanted to talk about this later, but we may as well crack into it now. One of the things I saw in the news, there's a school in New Zealand called Rangitoto College, which and I'm sure this has happened elsewhere in the world, but they have outright banned cell phones from being on school premises.
I like that a lot.
That's bold.
Was Bob, even the parents are protesting, being like, we want our kids we need to know where they are, like ones that are from broken families, and are saying that like we want, like a dad needs to
that's
be
the
able
thing.
to contact the daughter.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get
They're
to
a
the mum
tool
to,
as
like-
well as like this weird social thing, as well as
Yeah.
junk food. Addiction.
I want to say, oh man, I love that sentiment, but I'm like, I don't think it's practical in today's
No,
society.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were, and people are obviously going to still be kind of like contrabanding their phones,
Of course,
as it
yeah.
were. Like, yeah.
I've heard from other teachers that say like what they do is they put it in. You're allowed to have it at school, obviously, but as you walk into the classroom, you put it in a box by the door or at the
Yeah,
teacher's desk.
yeah.
or
I mean, I
whatever.
like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Like you can have it there with you, and if it goes off, you can if an emergency happens,
Yeah.
you will
You've
be
got it.
reachable.
Yeah.
But this
I'm not sure where your questions are going, but his question I'm going to ask is, at what stage in the evolution of phones did it start to? It's always going to be that every time it's getting better for us. At the same time, it's getting more addictive and we're more dependent on them.
Yeah.
At what stage in phone technology did it get to that? I think it's starting to ruin us.
I think it was when smartphones, like,
Yeah.
I think it's been an evolving thing, obviously. But
so smartphones wouldn't have. But smartphones were the beginning of the end, weren't they?
it was, but
it
I
was-
don't think it was
because it's
the
apps
end.
that do it. It's the specific apps
It's
on the phone.
Everything being an app.
Yeah.
Because like up until Reddit has only had a properly functioning app for not super long.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
their app used to be fucking garbage, so you'd only ever go on to Reddit on your computer.
Yeah.
But now I have Reddit on my phone.
We should open up our weekly screen time
Oh,
and
that's
share
gonna
it
be
with
embarrassing.
everybody.
Mine's so bad recently.
And you have to do this as well.
Ali's looking into the
I
void.
just gotta go. Sorry.
I'm down. I'm down. I'm game.
The other day I had an 8-hour day
on the phone.
on the phone.
Really?
Yeah. it's
Wow, what were you doing?
So I'll say first
Okay.
my daily average for last week, which apparently is down by 41% from week prior, is 3 hours and 11 minutes.
That's not that bad.
It's not that bad. I'm actually pretty happy with that. My most used apps last week were Reddit, number 1, Facebook Messenger, number 2, classic Slack, number 3,
Yeah, that sounds right.
YouTube, number 4, and Facebook, number 5.
Yeah, nice. So my daily average is 2 hours 30.
That's not too much lower than mine.
That's not too much lower. But my top app is Duolingo.
Fucking
Oh,
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
What are you learning?
French.
Oh,
Yeah.
bonjour.
Very good.
Thank you. I don't need
Very-
that.
Oh my god, do you know
Very
French?
I don't know. I'm not up to that yet, but
Oh,
I'll,
okay.
I'll
You'll
keep
get there.
I'll keep practicing.
Yeah.
My top app is Duolingo at 4 hours and 16 minutes, and then it's Reddit at 2 hours, and then Google Translate because I'm using Duolingo, and then Slack, and then Google Calendar. So I'm using my phone for educational purposes.
How
It's
you
one of
do.
those things that I just like. I made it like some stuff in my life has to give to make way for all this other stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I am really, really trying to make my phone not a big distract, but it's a conscious effort.
Oh, bro, it has to be everyone I speak to who's like, I've removed Facebook from my phone, or I've removed Instagram or TikTok or whatever, it has to be a conscious effort.
Yeah, it's big.
I can't give maybe the same kind of information, but I've got in terms of screen time hours over the week. Monday was 3 hours, Tuesday was 1.5, Wednesday was 3 hours, Thursday was 3 and nearly 4 hours.
That's not too bad.
So you're averaging just over 3 hours.
Can you see what your top apps are?
I can do it by day.
Just do it by day.
Today,
look at the top day. Sorry.
I'll do the top day, which was yesterday. It was an hour and a half on TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
That tracks from what
Yeah.
you're saying.
See that? Yeah. Continue.
Yeah. And then there's actually like nearly 40 minutes on this app. Is this game called Exominer.
I mean, that's a game. Is I think games are all good.
So if we what were you jumping?
I was just gonna make sure Ellie's gonna do more stuff to Ellie.
I was like, they're not going to come to me. Oh, well, no, it's not as bad as I thought. This week's average is 4 hours 46.
Oh yeah,
Not great,
Per
but
day?
So
yeah.
average.
Yeah. And my top apps are Instagram, Messenger, Chrome, Slack, Reddit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
sorry,
don't know
Instagram's number one. Did you say?
Yeah, but I don't even know what I do on Instagram.
That's
like
the
now
thing.
I'm thinking about it, I'm like, what am I doing on that? It's like nothing.
Doom scrolling.
I'm assuming it's this. This is purely for the people watching the video.
Yeah,
Doom
that's me.
scrolling.
Rowan's doing his Rodney.
Yeah,
For
he looks
those of
like
you. He looks like Rodney's.
And swiping my finger
Rodney
up
doom
with
scrolling.
a like a dead
Yeah.
expression on my face.
that's me.
I can't have TikTok on my phone, otherwise it would have been my number one as well.
Yeah.
I just can't fucking do it. Do you
Yeah.
have TikTok on your phone?
I do, but I have to actively monitor how often I use it. So I'm
Yeah.
actually quite good at not really using it at all, because if I let it slide
But
1
as
minute.
Ellen was saying, it has to be an active thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So one thing that I loved about my phone when I was young is it had it was a basic phone, but it had Snake on it,
Yep.
and my very first phone had Snake on it, and I mean Snake's a great game.
Great game.
I absolutely love that.
Yep.
My next phone was still a dumb phone, but the way it worked is you could I can't even remember how on earth I did this. I must have figured it out somehow, but you could plug it into a computer and download things to the phone.
Really?
So you could download polyphonic ringtones and like real basic games. So I could download like 10, although all like Snake and Tetris and that kind of stuff.
Polyphonic
Oh,
ringtone.
polyphonic ringtone.
I don't
remember
even.
that
I
word.
can't remember that word at all.
I remember polyphonic. It was this polyphonic. It was like this tech word,
Yeah.
Polyphonic.
which
basically
means
meant
like
like
high bit rate audio.
Right.
Kind of like it's
still
it's
very-
more than just 8-bit. It's
Yeah.
like it's got a bit more.
You've unlocked a little bit of memory with a friend of mine showing me at work his flip phone, which was another.
So my second one was a flip
Yeah.
phone as well, and I
And
was
I'm
like,
just going through
hey
the
guys,
flick.
Look at this one.
month.
Yeah, flick.
Did anyone have that one from the Matrix where it doesn't flip? It's not like it
goes-
doesn't
shoots
flip
out.
like a clamshell. It flips out.
yeah,
I didn't own one,
I wanna
but
one so
I,
bad.
yeah. God, the Matrix really,
Yeah.
really made that phone very cool.
Yeah.
But I kind of saw that as a youngster, like looking back on it now, rather, that of like starting to get addicted to the phone, because it was like, and now I can do polyphonic ringtones and download the games.
Yeah,
and I mean that was all. That was all I could.
Polyphonic.
That was all I could do. And then
Polyphonic.
texting and calling,
It's
obviously.
just a fun word to say.
It's a polyphonic.
Polyphonic.
Because there used to be ads on TV as well. It's like text 353 and whatever. Then you could download the special polyphonic
That's
ringtone.
right.
Can I just say one of the worst things ever that was a thing for a while, which is a thing you could put on when someone calls you, the ring they're hearing is the song of your choice. Remember that was a thing.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember if there's a name for it. It's like, and so you choose Britney Spears' Baby Baby. When
right.
someone's calling you, that's what they're hearing.
Yeah.
But it was always.
Sorry, can you So
It was
sorry,
so shit.
You called in somewhere.
So I'm calling. I'm calling you, Alan.
yeah.
And you've got this thing activated on your phone, and
Yeah.
so my ringtone when I'm calling you, what I'm hearing instead of
Yeah.
is oh baby,
Oh man, you guys are just talking- I don't remember this at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it was I feel like it wasn't well known.
Yeah.
Like it was a bit of a faff
Right.
to set up as well.
Right,
and
right,
then they
right.
stopped doing it. Obviously.
Because it always just sounded like shit.
Yeah, right.
That's in my TED talk.
But I feel like games is a subset, social media is a subset. Like what you're saying before is everything is on your phones now. Every company, every social media, every fucking your bills are on your phone. Like that's how I pay all my bills these days is on my phone.
Oh, I've got a bill to pay. Just remind me. Keep going.
Is it on your phone?
I will try and pay it on my phone after this.
Like I pay power, water, gas, internet, and the rates on my all on my phone. Like and not just I don't just pay it using my bank app on my phone. I pay it that they all have apps. That I use.
Right. Well, I don't have the individual apps I can use. I just go on there. Like
I'm trying to imagine.
But, yes.
I'm trying to get outside of our bubble, of being business owners who have Slack.
Slack is a whole. We can go there if you want.
Because my sense of always must have my phone with me is the sense of like there could be. Zahn might need to call and say there's an emergency. I'm trying to remove that and trying to imagine what it's like for just an average person who just works a normal job, and that's what it is. It the same sense of I must always have my phone with me?
I don't think that's our bubble. I think we kind of talked about it. I mean, that whole sentiment is what spawned the idea for this podcast. Is like you basically have to have your phone on you these days, and it's either. I mean, all three of us that can see the individual apps. Slack was in the top 5. And that's, for people who don't know, it's a messaging, like a business messaging service that helps you kind of run your business so everyone can talk to each other.
For these phones, they are incredible. I literally look at this phone, I'm like, I don't understand how you work at all.
Oh God, no!
Like everything packed into this little cube. This is magic.
Bro,
this phone is magic.
If you took an iPhone, what is this? We've got 13s, don't we?
Yeah, I think so. I don't actually know anymore.
If you took the most recent iPhone or Rowan's Pixel 2, even I was going to say back to a caveman days, you'd blow their mind. But even if you took it back to the 90s, someone would you'd blow their fucking mind.
Yeah, it's insane. This it knows where I am. I can talk to it. It can it's. The apps and games that it can play, the quality of the games is just absurd. It can connect to the internet. You've got all the information of the world.
It is an absolute modern marvel. Like if I go back, like even things as simple as what I was saying before, like I can pay all my bills on here now.
Yeah.
Like I could, without having to inconvenience myself, pay all of my bills right now.
Don't forget that how absurd it is, the magic of being able to touch the screen. There was a time when that was incredible, where you're so used to your keyboard over here and mouse over here, which controls the screen up there.
Yeah.
When that happened, where it's like you can actually touch the thing on the screen, that was bonkers.
Yeah.
I remember there was a phase of technology where it was like real clunky. It was kind of this other type of tech.
Because there's I think there's 3 types of touch tech. One, that first one that you're talking about, is actually a physical.
Yeah. You can
like
almost feel the
need
screen
to push into the screen to do it.
Yeah.
That's often what like ATMs and shit are, where they feel real clunky because you're like, fucking white, you need more pressure.
Yeah.
But phone, like there's a third type which I don't remember, but phones, it's like literally the reason you can't do it with gloves. It's like the electrical current of your finger touching the phone is what does it.
Is it with iPhones you don't even need, or the smartphones in general, you don't even really need to push.
Just because the electricity just jumps from your finger.
It can be a millimeter or whatever between your finger and the screen.
I think so,
yeah.
Actually, technically, if you're real careful not touching.
Yeah. So and that technology, there's a little bit more to it than that, from what I understand. But that technology is just magical.
Just touch screen is bonkers. But we live in a simulation. None of this is real.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Really?
Yeah, that's where I was going with this. None of this is real. If you think about it, it's
Are you hijacking Adam's podcast?
So we were told we should talk about living in a simulation. Let's continue on the positive sides of having a phone. Like the whole security, like that's kind of why kids have a phone, for example, is the security and safety element.
Yeah.
It is magical. It is amazing having a phone for security and safety. And Jen, quick story that Jen was really sick with COVID and not in New Zealand a wee while ago, and she wasn't picking up her phone. She wasn't responding to Facebook messages. She wasn't responding to any Instagram messages. Nothing for about almost 24 hours, and I was really concerned about her.
Yeah.
because she had quite a bad case of COVID and was just stuck in a hotel room. I was like, oh, like my worst fears were, oh, she's just like choked on some vomit in her sleep and died or something. I was panicking, and unfortunately she hadn't given me her itinerary for this trip, and I didn't know what hotel she was in, any of that.
Wow. So all you had was this link to her phone, was that one piece of information was, you know her phone number. And that's all you know.
That's all. And I was trying it, and she wasn't responding.
Yeah.
But then I realized that Jen and I have a link between our AirTags, and because she was traveling, I knew the AirTag would be in her hotel room, so I found the AirTag from her hotel room on my phone.
Wow.
Then looked in the map, and I was like, there were 2 hotels nearby. I rung the first one.
Yeah,
and found out, luckily, the first one was the one that she was at.
Yeah.
And they called her room and sent someone up to knock on the door, and she was just so sick that she'd just been literally asleep for 20 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was my phone that the connection between our phones is what allowed me to do that.
Yeah.
Wow. Professional stalker.
Yeah, I know, I am. And also, if you guys need a private investigator, just let me know.
That AirTag thing is something I never jumped on.
Well,
but I love I totally understand the idea of it.
You know the thing that couples do these days?
I've heard this.
Yeah, so the new thing that couples do is either have an active, open Find My Friend all the time. So you can literally just open your phone and go, that's exactly
That's
what my
specifically a
partner's
link
right
between 2 people, rather than saying anyone can find.
you can
friend finder. If you set it up, it goes just means that person can always see where I am.
Yeah.
Right,
but you can do it with multiple people.
Yeah, right.
Or you get an AirTag, and it's always on that person.
Right.
Our makeup artist and her husband have it as a safety thing.
Yeah.
But it's also it's a little bit of a privacy thing. Like, do you want your partner to always know where you are?
Man, if I got that, Chelsea would just be super bored because I'll either be here at work or at home.
Yeah.
Or commuting between the 2 places.
So Jen and I have it for safety reasons.
Well, Jen travels all the time. Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense.
That thing is one of those things where it's one of those things where it's Pandora's box where I feel like the moment, once you establish that we always know where each other are, you can never take that away, because otherwise it becomes
a thing.
Why are you taking it away? It's for me, that's always been one of those things where I've got nothing to hide, unless I was doing I secretly wanted to go to this place and buy you a gift, or there are I'm trying to make a surprise. There are the times where I've got something to hide.
Yeah.
But I've never wanted to open Pandora's box on that one, because for 2 reasons. For that, in case you misconstrue that I'm actually doing a thing over here, it was an innocent thing that you've started to get in your head about. That's one. The other one is because the anxiety that you can create for yourself about going I don't know where they are right now. That there's no reception, or it's not working right now, and I'm creating.
Or why are they there?
Or why are they there? I remember my brother was once doing. He was doing canyoning, and it was like doing basically. It's like dangerous stuff.
Yeah.
And it was places where there was no reception and stuff, and he's got this special tracker device that gave him access for us to see him at all times in theory.
Yeah.
And then there was a point there, where normally I wouldn't worry at all. I'd be like, sweet, you're away on canyoning. I'm not going to think about it until you're back, because there's nothing I can do anyway.
Yeah.
But because we had the device, and then it lost coverage or reception for like a day, we were like, oh, he's dead. He's fallen into a thing. He's underground. Or I actually thought it was underground caving, and I was starting to grieve.
Really? Wow.
And my mum was hysterical and stuff. And if we had never got this fucking tracker, we wouldn't.
And he was fine, obviously.
He was fine. He was it just didn't work for a thing. No. So it created all this anxiety.
Yeah.
I have down here on my list kids and phones. You started to talk about it earlier, and I kind of cut you off.
No, that's fine. I noticed that, and I was like, "Oh, you bitch!"
You
no,
fucking
I didn't really have too much to say about it.
It is a big thing, giving kids phones.
It is a big
because
thing.
we know the addiction.
Yeah,
we're already addicted. It's hard.
It is, and I don't want them to be addicted to their phones. And it's a really interesting one.
They're probably already addicted to yours.
No. Chelsea and I are actually really good with. They definitely see it and their eyes widen a little bit, so they want it, but they're not addicted to it because they don't know what you can do on a phone. Yeah. Like they're just the only thing that we let them do on the phone is like either browse photos. They can look at photos of essentially it's just family pics, or open up camera and take some snaps or something. So I think they actually see our phones as cameras, really.
Yeah. I see so many other parents though. It's like that just to like shut them up. It's like, here, watch Bluey. Have my phone, watch Bluey.
Yeah. No, we. seldom do that. We might do that on a long drive or something.
Yeah.
Like if Remy's just starting to get a little bit at hour 3 and she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we're doing the best we can because we definitely heard the horror stories about parents, iPad parents who just shove their kids in the corner with an iPad for
I get it as well.
hours.
though.
The thing is, though, I
understand
genuinely
for sure.
understand it, and there are times where I'm like, that's all I want to do. But you just have to. We're really trying this. Do you know we've recently Chelsea and I set a limit for Remy's TV time to 20 minutes in a day.
Oh wow.
I know. We're just like
That's not even enough for an episode of something else.
Well, no, for kids shows it is. You can get
true.
2 episodes of the average show, or
for sure.
like 30 episodes of Bluey in that time. Now you can get I think they're like 5 minutes each, so you get like 4 or something. Yeah, so we're just really doing everything we can to try and steer away from it as much as possible. But the thing is, we know it's inevitable because other parents won't be doing what we're doing, and friends will start showing up at school with phones, and eventually she'll be like, I want the thing that everybody else has.
Yeah.
And then at that point, we're dickheads for not allowing her to have this because it goes back to that social status thing, which I assume is still a thing.
Yeah.
The one hope I have is that the kids see how addicted this generation is to their phone and think it's super uncool. And
That would be fucking great.
That'd be great. It goes like full circle. It's that fashion
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
where it's like, it's kind of, I get that vibe from Facebook where we're addicted to Facebook.
But then
and
they're way more addicted to TikTok.
that's the thing. Like they found another tech
yeah.
thing that just hits that.
Oh,
hits that.
I feel like we don't. Do you use Facebook?
Oh,
anymore?
no. It's just like, I actually felt it's
Our generation.
we,
and our
we
parents.
were addicted to
It's
Facebook.
Instagram really now.
It's now Instagram, yeah, and I think the older generation than us is Facebook. But anyway,
Yeah.
regardless, the younger generation sees whatever the older generation are doing and think that's lame. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
like this universal truth that will exist forever.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that because they see that our generation is just on phones, that they're like, that's so
That's
uncool.
lame.
We're gonna live in the real world. Like to be rebels, we're gonna be
Yeah.
like, we're gonna exist and create memories in the real world instead of on your phone. That's crazy, and I really hope the generation does that.
Yeah. No cap.
No cap. Yeah, that's right.
You're
dog.
cool, bro.
Gucci.
Yeah, Gucci dog.
Yeah.
That's Gucci dog.
So 2 other kind of things I want to chat about is the social issues that come with constantly being on our phones and mental health issues that constantly come with being on our phones. We kind of covered the social things. It's that like you're sitting, like you're out to dinner, or like I'm guilty of this, and I know many other people are guilty of this, but you're at a restaurant with friends or something, and then you notice that thing that either one people or multiple people are just sitting there just like not being engaged in the like friendship dinner you're
I
having
would find
or
that
whatever.
odd to be if I was sitting down with 3 or 4 friends at dinner. It's pretty normally culturally you put your phone away. That's what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Is that not what you're used to?
I'm guilty of sometimes it just coming out of my pocket and just for whatever reason.
It might be like I've quickly got
Yeah, I mean, it's
message
more of
there,
that.
but it would
for
never
me.
be to just kind of be at the
I
table.
feel
with them
like
and browse.
I know what you're talking about though. Like there have been cases where that's happened, and I feel like it used to happen a whole lot more when I was a little bit younger. I don't know if it's like the older we're getting, the more maturity people are like. I don't know, like the older like I mean. I know the politeness thing. The polite thing to do is obviously just put it in your pocket or on the table or whatever.
I am
think
much.
it's-
I used to be worse. I'm much better now. Like of like trying to like we're having a nice
You've
dinner.
unlocked a memory in me though. Like I remember being in social situations and specifically probably more to do with family and leaving just so I can go to the bathroom and get a dopamine hit of my phone and like go through my phone really quick and be like, okay, done. Put it back in my pocket and then come back out. It was like I needed that little hit.
Yeah.
Like it was like I felt like a drug addict going off to the bathroom, like doing a line and then coming back out.
Like the amount of what is it, restaurant and bar paraphernalia that is there to stop you from using your phone. Like there was those pint glasses that a lot of bars had invented for a wee while, which had a cut out in the bottom, which meant they'd tip over unless it was sitting half over your phone.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was like you had
and
your-
would it cause a lot of mess? Like,
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, it was they're like obviously a little bit of like
I like that.
devices.
Yeah.
Or like those little zip-up bags that you put your phone into and like literally zip and lock the bag.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
so you'll have a dinner with 4 friends or whatever, and like it's like
Put it in.
time locked type thing. And
I
you
like
can't
that. Yeah.
Open it. Well, then what about the mental health issues of like literally constantly being?
Well, that's my one of my fun. no, not one of. It is my core reason for not wanting to be an avid user of Instagram and Facebook, is because I monitored it for a while. I was like, do I consciously monitored it? Do I ever feel better about myself after closing the app down?
Yeah.
And the answer was no. I never felt better about who I was or where.
Just to clarify, do you mean after you spent a lot of time on it?
Yeah.
Right.
So after browsing Facebook or Instagram or what it was, social media apps for a handful of time, how did I feel? And it was always jealous or a little bit sad or excluded or belittled, and it was never positive. It was never. It was always just more look at all these other people doing these amazing things while I'm doom scrolling, and I was like, why do I do this to myself? And the answer is because you're addicted to it. You're not getting anything out of it. Like I feel so bad for predominantly women actually who go onto Instagram, browse their feed, get images thrust in front of them about this is how you're supposed to look, and then they shut the app down and try and go about their day. I mean, the same goes for us as well. I mean, it's not just the Facebook and Instagram, and YouTube as well. It's like everything's curated. Everything's curated to make these people's lives look better than they are. And even knowing that, I would still be affected closing it down. It's just the thing is, the irony is, I'm so content and happy with my life. It's amazing that it can still do that to me.
Yeah.
Because I do have a solid foundation. Like I am genuinely happy where I am.
I hear the sentiment a lot. Exactly what you're saying about Instagram and stuff. And I guess I'm happy to say that I don't feel jealousy of other people's lives and stuff because I know it's all a fucking lie. I know what I'm seeing there, and I know from my own experience. I was there doing the thing. I got a good photo, used a filter. For me, the mental health aspect of phones is just the relentlessness of.
That's kind of what I was coming at.
The relentlessness of it. I even miss a time before just the real basic phones, before smartphones, where you go somewhere, you go you leave the house, you go to a place, and you're uncontactable. Yeah. I miss being uncontactable.
I genuinely, that exact same thing. I miss not, I don't know if you guys do this, but I'm constantly aware of my phone. Like, I know it's there, and if it was my pocket, I would know it's in my pocket. It's a little bit hard to describe, but that thing of being uncontactable or going for a bike ride with your mates and just being I am currently bike riding with my mates. But if I love riding bikes. If I was to go do that, if we were to go ride bikes outside now, the three of us, I would be aware of my phone.
Is it the one constant in your life?
It genuinely is, yeah.
It's the one thing that's always with you.
I remember one of the most awesome moments I've had in recent years of actually getting to experience this was I went on a photography trip with Byron maybe 2 or 3 years ago, just before Balin's route, and we went to a place where I literally didn't have any reception for days, and it was incredible. Yeah, especially with but when I came back into reception with Slack and all the messages I had to, it was it wasn't worth it, the amount of stress that caused me coming back into it. Running a business and having to catch up on hundreds of thoughts and things I'm trying to catch up on a business. I think under normal circumstances for your average person, leaving society for 3 or 4 days and coming back and going, oh, okay, there's people, I don't know, so mum wanted to call me. I missed call from mum.
I mean, there is. I mean, that's days worth of. I have started to do it where, if I go for a walk and that kind of stuff, I will leave my phone at home, or or if I go out in the garden to kind of water the garden and just kind of potter around, I'll leave my phone inside. And it is really freeing to be the thing I'm doing right now is just the thing I'm doing, and being uncontactable. Yeah. Or even this is not necessarily uncontactable, but not knowing something anymore, not being able to do a thing or find the answer. And it's kind of quite freeing.
We do that sometimes, don't we? Now we go, who's that actor? And we go for our phones and go, no, don't get your phone out.
Stop.
But even that kind of stuff, that's the experience you'd have. And you'd engage, part of the qualm I have with phones is I feel like we don't engage our brains enough these days, because you're either on social media just literally fucking dumbing your brain, or you can do that and find the answer to something, or you're just the reason I don't take my phone with me when I go for a walk is that's like creative time. Like I'm like thinking about things and thinking about the world.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're on your phone constantly, you're like, it's odd because you're obviously engaging your brain, but you're not like using your brain.
Yeah.
And I just really feel like it's dumbing society down so much in that regard.
Yeah.
So you inspired me to do this because you started it first, but to not have the cell phone in the bedroom.
Yeah, we talked about this in an earlier podcast, and I didn't do that again. I was like, I'm going to do this. This podcast has inspired me to move my phone to another room, and I didn't. I forgot, and then I reviewed the session, and I heard me talking about it, saying I was going to do it, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to do that. But I should.
Yeah.
I should. Did you do it again?
I didn't, but I should.
I should.
My success,
maybe today will inspire me
Maybe
to
today.
do it.
We're talking about it again.
My success story last night. So typically, at the moment, because Claire's away, I go to bed and then I'll go, okay, I'm going to bed now.
Yeah.
I'm in bed and I'll open up TikTok.
Yeah.
And of course, it's stimulation.
Yeah.
And so I'll literally stay in bed for hours browsing TikTok. And I was like, I forced myself to just put my phone on the charger and just get my Kindle and started reading my book, and I was asleep within like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. There you go.
So much. There's a like
It's so much
black
healthier.
and white story of
it's insane. And that's when I did have my phone out. I'd had it out of the bedroom for a good 4 months or something.
Yeah.
That was the experience. Is I would either just get into bed and just kind of lie there for a bit and just chat to Jen, and then
Yeah,
or-
the thing is, I'm
or-
pretty hard into Duolingo at the moment, so I'm like, it's actually what I do when I get into bed.
Oh, there you go. I mean, that is a positive thing.
Yeah.
On the other side of sleeping is it's literally the first thing I do when I wake up is just immediate, like, Instagram, Slacks,
Yeah.
messages,
Yeah.
Facebook, like, all that kind of stuff. And I just, mental health, it's just not fucking good.
Yeah,
And
no,
I
it's
don't
not.
know if that's just because I can't switch off
Mm.
before and after sleeping, and it's probably both, to be honest, that you're just not getting a good sleep
Yeah.
because, as you say, you end up on TikTok for fucking hours.
The good thing is, like, I still feel that draw to the phone, but because I've forced I don't feel any draw to Instagram or Facebook.
I'm
at all.
really happy for you.
Yeah, like that, or TikTok, obviously, I never did. But so I still feel a draw to the phone, but it's just and then I get there and I'm like, I kind of have two destinations on my phone, which is Reddit or Duolingo or Slack if it's popping off.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think there's, after a lot, you can obviously steer, just like any addiction, you can steer away from it. It does require that effort.
I feel like there's a difference when it comes to Instagram or TikTok. If you make a deliberate, I'm going to sit down on the couch and I'm setting aside some time to just browse. I'm consciously going to just browse TikTok or Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind that too much compared to when it's just that default where it's just like I've got Claire's gone to the toilet while we're at a restaurant.
I agree.
I'm going to default to just fill in the
Yeah,
gap. I'm going to fill in
I
the
see what you're
gap.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely. That feels like healthy.
Yeah,
Healthier. I would still prefer to, instead of TikTok, going for 20 minutes watching 2 dedicated YouTube videos on a certain thing that has a point.
So
you know what I mean?
I've been trying to make that time a little bit more useful. So
At which time?
The like doom scrolling time. So I agree with you that, like, if you're consciously like, I'm going to just spend 20 minutes on Facebook, great, that's fine. But that distracted time, as you say, I'd rather spend it on YouTube. But I have actually started to try and get like more valuable things out of that time now. So I like signed up to Masterclass and
good shit.
watching
Yeah,
Masterclass videos and that kind of jazz. Hashtag not spawn. But
not spawn.
Maybe
But
spawn.
Hashtag not spawn, but could be spawn.
But maybe Masterclass. I don't know. Hit us up.
Masterclass, yeah. No, I definitely feel like. Cut this part out because I got nothing to say. I got nothing to say.
What? No,
I started a sentence
let's
and I was
do
like,
it.
I don't know where this is going at all. Why did I say definitely? I definitely feel like
Did you maybe you had something and then it left and it evaporated from your
I
brain?
honestly don't know if I did. I don't think I started with
That's just
anything.
human life,
I
isn't
think
it?
it was just dead
Was-
air, and
was
I
it
was
a-
like,
was it a
oh,
rhythm
it's my
thing?
job just to keep
It was
talking.
a rhythm thing, so like, yeah, totally. So
Totally.
I'm gonna
I
fill in. So
definitely
I
feel-
definitely have nothing to say.
Definitely have nothing to say.
There's
I feel
a
like we should
chance
keep
we'll
it
leave
in,
this in.
I guess there might be a chance because it's become a little bit,
become
hasn't
a
it?
little bit.
I
Yeah, we're keeping
definitely-
it in. We're
Yeah,
keeping
yeah,
it
we
in.
might keep this in.
Fuck.
What's your next point there, Adam?
It's not my next point. It's my last point.
Final point.
I kind of. Where do you think cell phones are going? Like, are they just going to stay like this and get insanely more advanced? Are we going to get like glasses phones? Are we going to get a fucking chip in us? Are we going to...
Okay, so I think in terms of the size of the phone, I think they've settled.
Yeah.
Like because they for a while they were getting look how small we can make it. Tick 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 tick. They're too small, too small. Look how big we can make it. Tick 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 tick.
Yeah.
And then it's like kind of found the middle, and
Yeah,
you
I think
get
you're
the
right.
options, but I feel like
Because the
this is
previous
perfect
phone to
size.
this was a bit too. It was
bit-
bigger, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And now they've
And-
made it small.
So
And this
funny
is the
this
right
size.
size for you can watch something and you still get a good enough experience, but it
I'm
can fit in the
assuming.
pocket.
I'm going to guess these are all pretty much the same size now because they've finally found the size.
Yeah, it's like slightly bigger, but yeah, they're
Oh, it's got a
roughly.
like a
The previous
case,
iPhone was slightly bigger than that.
Yeah, right.
And it was too big.
Yeah.
It was
then-
uncomfortable in pockets and stuff.
And then I'm a bit of a pessimist when it comes to all this glasses tech, and I don't think that's ever going to take
It's
off.
like 3D movies.
It's like 3D movies. It feels like a fad. Like this feels like it to me. But then as well, I might be too old and just
Honestly-
it doesn't need to change.
Based on how it's been going, like it's plateaued at this for a long time now.
For sure.
Yeah, the
And
updates
I think
for
it's-
now are just like
yeah.
the camera's a little bit better. And,
Yeah, and
the
for
hard
that
drive's
reason,
a
I
little
think it's kind of gone. We can't do much with it. You've got your little Black Mirror, and there it is.
Yeah.
I guess it can do lots of stuff. I mean, the actual device is just going to be a little black square for a while. I think. I mean, I've heard they're going to have these kind of see-through kind of
Like in
like a-
Minority Report.
like a glass brick.
Yeah.
But
That's
it's,
so
it's all-
stupid though, because then like
people could see the other
you
side
see
what
what
you're
you're doing, and then you'll never have that like it'll be all glary through the
I don't know.
thing. You know what I mean?
Apparently, they've got like one-way technology. Where I'm not even getting into the tech of it.
Yeah,
but
right.
I think in the grand scheme of things, I don't think we're going to end
We've
up
settled.
with. I think we've kind of settled.
Yeah.
Yeah, even that to me that those phones that the screen
Yeah,
bends.
I don't care.
I
I
don't
don't
care.
want
I don't care. And if you look close, there's a little crease across.
I don't
it.
want it.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
I don't want a
I
crease.
don't.
on
I
the
actually.
screen.
I don't want your Apple Watch. I don't want this shit on me.
No,
I like
no,
Apple.
that's why I've got my lovely
I-
old school watch.
I prefer old school, but I do
Yeah.
actually like in terms of if you're getting into fitness and running and blah blah blah. And Apple Watch actually, not to promote Apple, but those.
But hey, Apple, if you want us to promote
I mean,
you, hit us up.
Apple, what up?
Do they sponsor anyone?
I don't know if they do.
do,
I don't think
yeah.
Apple do. So what at Masterclass? What at Masterclass?
Yeah.
I understand that like it's the fitness thing. It's for elderly people. It is also like a thing that can help them if they fall over. And
Oh yeah,
like,
with really
you know.
like strong
monitor's
applications
heart.
for a very unique,
But yeah,
specific thing.
yeah,
but
exactly.
just the whole
I-
glass tech, Apple like watch tech, none of the stuff.
A friend of mine from where I used to work, I just saw him one day texting from his Apple Watch.
It's
And I was like, what are you
insane, eh?
doing? And he's like, I bought it, so I'm doing it. Like, the whole reason was like,
Fucking hell.
because he wasn't getting into doing fitness, he bought the Apple Watch because it was cool. And he was like, he had his phone in his pocket, but he refused to use his phone in his pocket. He was tapping away on this little screen, way more difficult. He wasn't having fun. But he was like, I am texting using this Apple Watch.
Do you know what would make me mentally very unwell? Would maybe make me go insane.
Yeah.
Would be if I had some sort of watch that could,
Yeah.
every time we got a Slack,
Oh,
this is
God.
my definition of torture. Every time we got a Slack message, it went ding.
Which it did. Unless you turn it off. You can turn it
Yeah,
off.
and
but-
so I'm just kind of living my day and going. "Zzz,
You're getting a little.
yeah, because you get a little physical vibration on your
Yeah,
arm.
another message I'm not addressing. That would kill me.
Imagine if this would make you go even more
Yeah.
insane. Is if there was like some AR thing that it's not even glasses. They insert a little thing into your eyeball and it goes ding in front of your
the little
vision.
thing goes,
ding
it's
in
like,
front of your vision.
Adam wants to have a meeting about this podcast thing.
You'd be on the street going ah, rubbing shit into your face.
Rubbing shit. It's always just rubbing shit into your face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is actually like I feel like this is it for me in terms of like the tech. I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so as well. Like all of that, like no one's gonna want to get a thing inserted in their eyeball.
Yeah,
or
no, I don't
fucking-
like
Here's the one thing I would consider, and you can actually already do this, I think, is get a chip in. It's basically like this. It's a chip that you just put in yourself,
RFID reader.
which
thing.
is effectively like your credit card or
Yeah.
your thing. It's just that
That's
scan
cool.
it, but you
Yeah.
can set it to your own settings.
Yeah, right.
So you don't have to have your wallet, and it's basically what your phone can already do. It can be your credit card.
Well,
it
that's the
can
other
be
thing,
your-
eh? Like my phone. So I leave the home with just my cell phone now. A lot of the time, like I shouldn't because of my driver's license, but I do. But credit card, you'll pay for it.
Yeah.
It unlocks my car. I literally it's my keys. So it's
Yeah.
my keys.
Yeah.
And it's so I literally got a wallet, keys, condensed down as this one thing.
Yeah.
Um,
So after all that, are you guys gonna give up your phones?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is the last
This
day.
is
The last day that we all use it. Shall we right now ritualistically snap all our phones
So
in half?
Let's do it.
you guys start.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll
You guys go
you do it
first.
first.
I'm
You go
gonna
first.
go
At least
first.
let's
I'm gonna
go
go first.
counterclockwise
Go
around the table.
around the table.
Yeah. You
Maybe
go
Ali
first.
should start first.
No. The battle will continue.
The
Yeah,
battle
I know.
rages on.
The battle
I
rages
think it's
on.
about
It's
maybe
about
giving
moderation.
Moderation.
It's a
that's
moder-
what I'm
it's
looking for.
it's moderation. It's going through. It's really just take a moment to see how you feel after using an app.
Yeah.
Like that would be my key takeaway. I feel like dropping Instagram and Facebook for me were the two big ones,
Yeah.
and I feel like I have a much healthier relationship with my phone over the last few months.
Yeah. It's good that you use it for a lot of educational things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for that purpose, like the thing is, I use it for like the important things like monitoring, like when baby's sleeping, we've got a little baby monitor watching and stuff. So it's actually just it's a practical. I feel like I'm using it as a practical tool now rather than a thing that's
fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
for the most part.
I hope that I can get closer to that.
You keep believing, baby. You can do it. I believe in you. I'll help you on this journey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ron, would you like to wrap us out?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yo, we're talking about cell phones. They make me moan with discomfort. Don't like them because they're all-encompassing. Cell phones like Al Capone. Cell phones like Al Capone. Cell phones like Al Capone. Cell phones.
That was pretty cool.
Make me moan. Oh, Al Capone. He had a cell phone.
No, I don't know if he did.
Did he?
I did.
Did he not have a cell phone?
Nah, I don't think.
But
he has
around.
I like the time he rhymed cell phone with Al Capone.
Yeah, so
Then he
It
did
felt
a
like
few.
a genius lyric. It's
Yeah.
the kind of thing Eminem
to be
would-
honest,
would
like
rhyme.
I know you weren't necessarily rhyming the first part, but it's still a good rap.
Yeah. I'd say that's one of your best.
That's
Good shit.
probably one of the
Sure.
best. And you destroyed it a
Cell
little bit
phones
at the
like
end by
Al Capone.
repeating
Cell
that.
phones like Al
Yeah.
Capone.
Oh, by the way, I have had this thing in between my teeth this entire time, and I've been in huge
Do you
discomfort.
need to floss?
So I'm gonna floss after this.
I've got floss.
I would love some floss. Can I have some
Legit-
floss?
I've
You know what you
legit
could
got
do?
some
You
I would
could use
love
the
to-
camera
I
on your
learned
phone to give yourself a little mirror.
I'm gonna use the camera on my phone.
Hamish
bit of floss.
has taught me to always have floss on you.
That is a genius idea.
My man.
My man. I'm gonna go floss.
Bye, listener.
Goodbye.
You told us we should do a podcast, and now you can tell us what we should do podcasts about. So if you head over to our socials, we've got a TikTok and we've got an Instagram. You can get in the comments there, and you should tell us what we should do podcasts about. Get on over. There's a link tree there.